Claude can now load in capabilities like Neo in the Matrix through their new Skills feature. It's a new feature available in Claude. Each skill is a structured folder that will include step-by-step instructions, maybe code snippets, reference docs, whatever you want it to. And when you give Claude an assignment, it doesn't try to do it all at once. It uses sort of progressive thinking to scan its available skills, choose which one are relevant, and only activate the ones needed for the components or the specific tasks that you've asked for. It also launched a pretty cool skills creator assistant, which is basically it'll let teams build new skills without touching the code, and multiple skills can work together. So for example, Claude could combine a brand guidelines skill with a financial reporting template, and it can use those skills to produce a polished board deck automatically.
I don't know that I would trust Claude to write my board deck without reviewing it before presenting it to the board. It does feel quite a bit different than the projects, which are just kind of like handwritten instructions and a couple of files, but really kind of modular things you can expose. The brand template, I think, brand guidelines is a great example of like, okay, and you might have a copywriting one and you might have different skills and it can kind of combine them to do work. It seems very enterprise focused, which seems to be where Anthropic is very focused on that, both API level being the back-end coding model for many companies, but all B2B sales. And this seems like a very B2B chatbot-oriented approach that they've really saw. Interesting to see them leaning into that enterprise angle.
I thought the same thing when I first was looking at this. It just seemed not that different than projects, but it actually, when you think about it, is really different than projects, because when you have a project in ChatGPT, every time you come back to chat with the project, you have to be really good at telling it what you want it to use and not use in the context. And you're like, remember this thing and remember that thing. This sort of feature seems like it's actually optimized so that you don't have to do all of that work. And I have some things that are like this at work where it's like the skills are repeatable, but the knowledge set you might need is not exactly the same skill to skill. And so let it actually run those skills on different knowledge sets is a pretty interesting idea.